Have you ever sat back and told yourself, I'd like to do that, but I'm too old to start? Well, you're going to want to stick around because today's guest is going to get rid of that stinking thinking and remind us all that you're never too old to pursue a dream. Let's have ourselves a pocket-sized pep talk. Meet this guest, learn, and be inspired.
A pocket-sized pep talk, the podcast that can help energize your business and your life with a quick, inspiring message. Now, here's your host, Rob Jollis.
Eileen Green is an empowered and fearless woman who strongly believes that there's no set age to achieve your goals and dreams. She calls herself a late bloomer since she was able to achieve amazing things at an advanced age. In her 50s and 60s, she accomplished her bachelor's degree, became certified hypnotherapist, was B'nai Mitzvah, and received her master's degree, among other things. She's an active life coach, gave her TED Talk at the ripe age of 87, and at her current age, which I've been allowed to disclose, of 93, continues to demonstrate it's never too late to do anything your heart wants you to do. Great to have you on the show, Eileen. Welcome.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am ready to go.
All right. So let's dive right in. Now, I frequently interview authors, but I couldn't turn down this interview with you. Now, that said, I'll give you a little push right out of the gate. Any thoughts of writing a book? You've done everything else.
I'm in the process of writing my memoirs.
Excellent.
Which may outlive me because I have so much to say.
Well, I'm going to make it easier for you as a guy who works with authors. Remember that actually books are getting smaller, not bigger. So edit it a little bit, get it into a nice little brisk piece, and I'm sure that it's going to be one whale of a story. But we don't need a war and peace on this one. Just get to the really good stuff. And I've got good stuff because I know that you've been up to a lot. Now, you raised 3 sons.
Yes.
And instead of playing mahjong and tennis, which you may very well be involved in, you start a whole new life. Now, I'm curious, what put you on this path?
I have this constant desire to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was interrupted to work and raise my children and be a wife, be an aunt, be a cousin, be this, be that, the other, I figured I could fit it in.
Right.
And so I went back to school at night.
At what age again?
Well, let's see. I was in my 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. It took me 25 years to graduate from college.
Wow. That must have been one big graduation party. That's all I could say.
Well, my husband surprised me with a party, yes, because I'm the one that usually gives the parties.
Right.
So,
Right. So did you behave yourself? Because that sounds like you have a right way of doing a party. Did he do a good job for you?
excellent job, except that I found out that he was going to do it.
Oh, the cat got out of the bag, huh?
So I had to act.
Good. So amongst other things, Eileen, now we learn we can add actress to this pile of accomplishments of yours.
I guess, yes, I did.
Okay. Well, you look terrific. You sound terrific. You're sharp as a tack.
I appreciate your comment.
You bet. So help us all. I want to be that sharp. I want to be that sharp right now. What kind of, do you have any tips that you follow just to, that helps you on this kind of healthy life you're living?
Yes, I have many tips. I have many suggestions that I have helped people by them being able to find their initial sensitizing experience that caused their dilemma.
I see. And
rewrite the script.
Right. And so right now you're kind of working into the hypnotherapy part.
Yes and no,
Uh-huh.
because when I give people homework, it's something that they will follow or not. So not everybody wants to be fixed.
Right.
There are victims in our society
Yeah.
that only can blame other people.
Right.
They live with if only.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I teach is to live in the presence
Mhm.
and change the negativity to positivity. So I help them rewrite their script.
That's brilliant. You know, it's interesting, Eileen. We're programmed in a similar way. I've often told people, you know, if I thought that sitting down and misusing my imagination and worrying about things that may or may not be, if I found that that was going to make me healthier, I'm a very competitive guy. I would out worry the rest of you. But we both know that just doesn't contribute to anything. And how many times can we think about things that where we've really put a lot of stress on ourselves, on our mind, on our body, and realize none of that even came to be. I wasted all that stress. And that's that term I like. You know, there's an author, and I've struggled to find the author's name. I've searched it, but I love this quote that says, "Worry is the misuse of your imagination." And I think that's what people do. They misuse their imagination, and they think that somehow that will protect them if they worry about the worst outcome possible. And so I like talking to people like you who have figured it out and are trying to put it in front of the rest of us that says that's just not going to help us out. Let's try it a different way.
Yes, yes, absolutely. But you see, a lot of the concerns that people have are subconscious.
Mm.
And so you have the conscious, you have the subconscious.
Right.
And I have some interesting stories about when I did bring people back in their process of life. And that was an initial sensitizing experience that they were unaware of.
Wow.
I brought them back to their embryo. And when I did that, I was considerably younger and I hadn't been practicing that long. And I freaked out because I couldn't find out where she was when I brought her back. And so I went to the library, and sure enough, they have statistics of children being in the embryo and hearing what is going on with their parents. And that became their initial sensitizing experience that they were totally unaware of.
Wow.
She told me that she was in a very dark place. She couldn't see anybody, but she could hear her parents. And
Right.
they were arguing, and her father was so mean.
Wow.
It's that.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I'm a corporate trainer, do a lot of public speaking, and we always talk about levels of behavior, 4 levels, but the most dangerous level is what we call the unconscious incompetent. Means
Yes.
when people don't know that they don't know. And so how do you fix that? When I don't even know that I don't know. And what we try and do is kind of move them along to conscious incompetency, which is to kind of figure out and let you know this is what it's called and that's why it's wrong, and then begin to put in process behaviors. But that's fascinating that people can pick that up. And yet when you say it, I'm thinking we don't need to understand the actual English words to feel strain and stress in the tone, and feel the mother most likely tighten up and express fear, which is, again, I would think, going towards that baby. So what you say makes complete sense. I've just never really thought about it before.
Well, you know, why do they tell the mothers now to sing to their children
Mm-hmm.
in the womb?
Right.
Why do they tell them to pat them?
Right.
So it is a known now. It
Yeah.
wasn't, but
Right.
it is now.
Right. That's interesting. So let's stay here a little bit. Let's talk about stress, because I know that's something that you work with. Um, let's let's say we've got you're coaching a client, and I coach clients, and many of them are dealing, particularly in my area. I volunteer and help people who are in career transition, so a lot of stress on the job, money stress. What would be some thoughts from you to handle this kind of stress?
Well, first of all, I would request that they sit down and breathe. Breathe in, breathe out, and consciously center themselves. Then the homework that I give is to take a piece of paper and put a heart in the center. And in the heart, put I am. And off of the heart, you put tangents. And you take the negative and change it to a positive. I am eagerly accepting such and such. I am consciously happy. I start my day with gratitude for what I had and what I still have. I go into forgiveness. I go into acceptance. I go into intention. And when I hear my clients say, I'll try, I said, it's okay to use try if you want to climb Mount Everest, but you don't use try when you are eager to make a change, because try allows for failure.
Right. Wasn't it one of the Star Wars where Yoda said there's do and don't do, there's no try? I think that was the in that movie, but it was sort of the same thing. There is no try. Yeah. That's funny.
So far, do you think that has value?
I love it. You're not getting an argument from me. I don't crowbar my books into conversations, but my most recent book that I wrote was a book called Why People Don't Believe You. And it always starts. I mean, before I tell you how to get the guy across the hallway there to believe you, you got to believe you. Okay. And I am a big proponent of how dangerous it is when we don't even talk to ourselves nicely, when we snipe at ourselves and go, "Oh, you're so stupid, you wouldn't know." And it disguises itself as humor sometimes. We think we're kidding ourselves. We think, "Oh, I'm just teasing." But if you question your intelligence all day long, if you question yourself, eventually that's going to take hold. So I like what you're doing there, because again, you're starting to get people to kind of rewrite how they're talking to themselves. It really matters. You're not going to get an argument from me on that. And I wish people would understand that it's not harmless. It really matters, the words we use, not just towards others, but to ourselves.
Well, do you believe, like I do, that the brain is the computer of the body?
Oh, yeah.
And by allowing certain behaviors, you are destroying your body.
Oh, I absolutely believe it. I have a physical coming up. I have a doctor, and I think one of the years I went for my physical, I was probably apparently a little nervous. And he said, "Calm down." He said, it really, it's all about, life comes down to three things. It comes down to taking care of your body, meaning through exercise, okay, taking care of what you put inside your body, nutrition, and then the mind, how you handle this mind. And in other words, we all deal with stress, Eileen, but how fast can we deal with it effectively, efficiently, and keep that mind healthy? And he said, if you do those three things, then it really comes down to just avoiding bad luck. And I want to tell you, I have hung on to that for probably 20 years. And it is, for me, that works. And so I pay attention to those three, and I don't misuse my imagination about the fourth. I just try and make good decisions, as we say, not get myself into positions where, there could be trouble. But no, I'm with you. And I like that I am process. That's the kind of thing I think would be really nice in a book, and a blog, and in a podcast like we have today. So I'm grateful you shared that with me. We're coming down the home stretch. If you could go back, and I got to go back way back with you, because I don't even want to go back to when you were 50. I want to go back to Eileen, circa 25 years old. What if you could right now go back and whisper something, one or two thoughts in that Eileen's ear? What would you tell her?
Oh, my goodness. You see, at 25, I was not conscious of the mind. I was not conscious of meditation. I was not conscious of anything other than I know that, the word fetch.
Oh, yeah. I don't think my audience knows, so you can explain that to them right now.
It's okay to complain to yourself. And then it's necessary to say, and what am I going to do about it? Not to continue to fetch. Right. I have several friends that it's so difficult to talk to them, because first thing is, oh, I am so sick. I am so sick. I am allergic to the planet. Okay.
Yeah. That's fetching. That's a good example.
And so when you feel with the poison affects your body.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I mean. That's where I think, and this doctor, I'll give him a shout out. His name is Dr. John Valenti. I think when he was with that third element of the mind of basically, I'm with you. Listen, we all have, not every day is a perfect day. Got it. But rather than fetching, what are you going to do to move that boulder to the side, get around the corner, figure out a solution? Or are you going to sit there? And you said this earlier beautifully, Eileen. I'm going to put a different word on it. You became a victim. You dropped into this victim mentality, and it's nothing. It's all them. It's never me. I don't do anything. Everybody's bad. I'm trying. And that's when I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. You don't want to spend your life as a victim. And so, yeah. I
had a sister that was.
Yeah. Oh, I know people pretty close to me as well. And it's not good.
And you're talking to a blank wall. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. And you know how you can tell, Eileen? I tell you how you can tell a professional victim. When they use the words, when you ask them, so that happened, and what's your part of this? I didn't do anything wrong. It was all the plumber, the this, the that, the whoever it was, them and not me. How do you evolve? How do you get smarter? So I just between.
What the interesting thing is, they are smart.
Yeah.
They're not stupid people that,
right.
They're smart. They're pretty. They're smart. But I believe that there's a psychological element that we have no control over.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I also think it's an unconscious incompetency, because I will tell you, because I coach some of them, if you sit down and you define it and you explain it and you show it to them, I'm not telling you it's that with mission accomplished yet, but if you get it on the radar screen, and then what I do is every time I hear it, I have a little bell on my computer. I'll actually hit the bell every time I hear a victim statement. The more consciously aware they are, the better we can go. And then finally, real quick, Eileen, I'll tell you, I start by telling them, how about we make you 90% right? I call it the 90-10 rule. I'll make you 90% right. How's that? Just give me the 10%. So I kind of come through the side door that way.
You know, I have not had the clientele or whatever it is that I was able to do the things that you're talking about, because I have been, well, how can I tell you? There's a certain element about me that I pick up when people need help. And I pick up when they want help. Whether they're going to actually do what you tell them, I don't know, because I'm not the kind of person like one of the psychiatrists that I went to ages ago, who sat and said, mm-hmm, 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 and then handed me a prescription and said, see you next week.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you're not that person. And because, it isn't, I think that's what I would call almost the magic pill syndrome, that we're going to just come up with a phrase or a this or a pill, and then it's all repaired. I think the first thing we do is, because we say, we go from unconscious incompetency to conscious incompetency. Then we go to conscious competency, which means here are some of the skills. They're not going to really feel natural to you. You're going to have to think about it. You might have to look at a piece of paper. Nobody wants that. But then that fourth level is unconscious competency, where pretty soon it becomes sort of mental or muscle memory. And then, the body does it or the mind does it naturally. That's utopia. Unfortunately, we can't stay there forever. It is a cycle, but that's sort of the game plan, at least from my side of things.
well, I applaud you.
Thank you. All right, last question for you. How about a mentor or two? Somebody that really you look and showed you the way at some point.
Well, I think you know my son, Richard.
Do I?
No.
I don't know. No, I don't think I know Richard.
Anyway,
Sounds like a lovely guy.
I have 3 incredible sons.
Uh-huh.
And my eldest son has always danced to a different tune. And he has encouraged me. How I became bat mitzvah is that he wanted his daughter to be bat mitzvah. And so finally he nagged her so much that she said, okay, Dad, I'll do it if Grandma does it, because she was born on my birthday,
Wow.
figuring she would get off the hook. We were bar mitzvah. Then he wanted me to go and take the master program. And I said, Richard, I'm going to be 75. He said, Mom, you're going to be 75 anyway.
It's beautiful.
So I had a mentor, and I had the encouragement of my boys.
Right. That's lovely. And
my husband gave me enough rope to hang myself.
But I touch back. I think what a blessing to have a child as a mentor. Yeah.
All 3 of my boys are in their own way. Yeah. And I am so fortunate.
Yeah. Well, you did something right, because that doesn't happen by accident. I'll give you a little secret, and now I'm giving up my secret, but when I meet somebody for the first time and I don't know them, if I can meet their family, their children, I feel I've gotten to know them. That accelerated what I needed to learn about them. I don't think it's, and so the fact that you raised 3 wonderful children says a lot about you.
Well, I had a husband for 66 and a half years. That was he was stricter than I.
Right.
But he was also very giving. Yeah. And he also had a little temper. Nobody is perfect, including me.
Yeah, that was also that generation, Eileen. I think I was raised by a Marine and who had a temper and was one of 7 boys, and they all had tempers. I have 36 first cousins at one point. Um,
Wow.
but it was also a little bit generational, and now we look back and we go, well, but that was that time.
Yes. It was right or wrong.
Yeah.
Black
Right.
or white.
Right. Right.
That was it. You were
Yeah.
a good girl or you were a bad girl. And that's why I married early.
Well, you, my friend, have been a great guest. I really enjoyed talking to you. You've truly demonstrated to everyone that it doesn't matter your age. If you want something, put it on a list, pick something off of it, and as
That's
Nike
my
would say,
TED
just
Talk.
do it. Right?
That's my TED Talk.
How old were you when you gave the TED Talk?
80, what was it, 87?
87. Yes, I think I saw that in the bio. 87. Wow. How was that? What was that experience like?
Well, it was crazy because I wasn't supposed to do it. I was
Right.
supposed to see my son, Richard, was involved with somebody who was part of the production. There were 26 or 28 women at the Beverly Hills movie theater. And the night before, there was a rehearsal. And I was supposed to introduce somebody. So I went to the rehearsal. As I'm leaving, they come to me in the lobby. Eileen, you're on tomorrow. I said, no, I'm not. No. Yes, you are. You are on tomorrow. I'm not going to take no for an answer. We read your TED Talk and we need you on tomorrow. And I thought, oh my God. I said, well, all right, if you need me, I said, but I need a prompter. They said, everybody needs a prompter. I get to the queue line. They put earplugs in me. I take 2 steps and they fall out. So they hand me a mic. I take the mic in my right hand. I walk out and I'm talking to the audience and the mic is in my right hand. I hear, mic up, mic up. So I grab the mic with 2 hands and I take a breath and I continue on because I was supposed to have 15 minutes. I had 17. And I got a standing ovation.
Fabulous.
My heart was beating and oh my God. And I thanked Tony Robbins in my TED Talk and I thanked my husband. It was quite an experience.
Wow. That sounds like it. And it's actually on my bucket list. I've been a professional speaker for 40 years, never given a TED Talk. I've given thousands of talks, but never a TED Talk. I'll probably jump. I'll wait till I'm 87. I'll get at it one of these days.
My son, Richard, is a speech coach.
Uh-huh.
In fact, he was Princess Diana's speech coach.
Mm.
And he was one of the very few to be at her funeral when she passed away. And so he's been a big influence on me.
Sounds like it. Yeah, I'm going to look him up. In the meantime, this was about you today, and you were terrific. I want to thank you so much for being a great guest. Really learned a ton. I
can talk.
Oh, you can talk. Yeah, no problem there. No problem there. You're good on. You're a talker. I was hoping. Let me tell you, it's not much of a podcast when you don't get a talker. So you did just great. Thank you so much. We'll have if it's okay. Can we put an email address on our page so people can get a hold of you?
Yes.
Okay.
It's egreen with an E. 321 @AOL.com.
Right. And when Eileen says green with an E, it's GREENE
Correct.
at AOL.com. We got it.
EILEEN.
You bet. Okay. Fantastic. Well, thank you for being such a wonderful guest. And I'm really grateful you were able to talk to us today.
Well, thank you. I'm learning from you as well.
Thank you. Well, we'll do it again as well as we can next time, everyone. Until then, stay safe.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please rate and recommend it on iTunes, Outcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information on this show and Rob at jollis.com.